Waiting. Hey, everybody. My name is Rick Jansen, realtor in Denver, Colorado, and I'm here with Luke Smith. Welcome, Luke.
Hey, Rick, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, we're going to do something fun here over the course of the next year. It's a journey I've wanted to do with an agent for a long time, is taking a newer agent. And, Luke, you've been licensed for how long?
I've been a licensed real estate agent for officially 1 year and 5 days, but I didn't close my first deal until about 9 months ago.
Awesome. Awesome. So, we're going to take a newer agent who has the work ethic, the drive, the determination, the vision, the personality, and the desire to do more and be more and grow his business. We're going to take a live journey with him over the course of the next year, every week, and stream it to you live as we coach Luke up to higher production. Luke, tell us a little bit about your background. Keep it, to a minute or two. I know we could go on for 20 minutes. You've got a fascinating background.
Well, first of all, I lied. I didn't close my first deal 9 months ago. I closed my first deal in September of 2022. I went my first 5 months without a paycheck. So I'm just got to throw that one out there real quick. But my name's Luke. I'm a former Army Ranger, did special operations, got to go on like crazy cool combat deployments. And I found out that I want to work for the federal government and not the military anymore because I found out I would be able to make way more money. So I got out, started going to college, became a police officer, and loved it. You know what I mean? Got hired by the feds, was an 18-month pipeline. And one night when I'm a police officer, I come home from work and my wife's like, Luke, I hate my job. I want to get my real estate license. And it was just crazy. I'm like, you want to do what? She's like, ever since I was a little girl, I want to get my real estate license. I hate sitting in front of a computer screen all day long. I want to do it. I'm like, okay, I support you 100%. I'll help you. And then she hits me back with, I want you to get yours too. I'm like, whoa. What are you talking about? She's like, come on, honey, just help me on nights and weekends. So, I got my real estate license with her. And I started seeing the potential in sales because my college job, as soon as I got out of the military, I sold cars, did a bunch of car sale courses, and ended up breaking a bunch of records at the car dealership within the first few months that I was there. And it was strictly from learning scripts, objections, and stuff like that, and just making phone calls compared to standing outside. It was the easiest job ever when you don't just stand outside and wait for somebody to show up. But long story short, a police officer, get my real estate license, and I finally get my dream job with the feds. And I'm like, I'm onboarding in 2 months. I got my real estate license last month. I was not serious about it at all because I'm like, I got a backup plan. If I don't make any money for the next couple months, big wolf, I got, like at least a little bit of money in savings. It'll float us through until I get my Fed job. 3 days before onboarding, July 2nd, okay, July 5th, I was supposed to onboard. July 2nd, I'm playing pickleball of all things. I snapped my ankle, 4 torn ligaments, 2 fractures. To this day, it is the 25th of March, and I still can't distance run and I still can't back squat. I blew it out. 6 months, couldn't even walk. 3 months later, had surgery, and my back's against the wall. I have no job. I have a real estate license. I have no idea what to do. And that's where the journey started, not because I wanted to do it, but because I had to, because I had no money and I had no plan. And I was just screwing my wife, just being honest. But that's where it all started. And now I sell real estate. I started with Keller Williams for about 3 weeks. Found out it was like, no offense to them, and I don't want to talk bad, but my experience was like a raw motivation, because within my first 3 weeks, I found my first customer and they wanted to put in a contract. And I was so excited, but I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to fill out a contract. I'm like, what do I do here? And I reached out to a local agent. They're like, don't worry about it. On a 50-50 split, I'll do the purchase and sale agreement for you. And at that point, I was like, you know what? If I'm going to give up half my commission, I'm just going to do it on my own. Bought a bunch of courses. You gave me the pleasure of going out to build 2022. That jump started the drive that I have now. And, a short year later, here we are.
Big decisions are made at big events. I love big events like that because you learn so much about the potential. You learn application of technique. You learn scripts. You learn technology that's working, and you see the bigger picture, right? I think the bigger picture was kind of what kicked in at Build 2022.
That was crazy.
Yeah. So it was shortly thereafter. I mean, I remember being on the phone with you, and folks, we'll wrap up the background here a little bit, but this is pertinent. And I know Luke wants some coaching this week, so we got to get into that. But what, I remember you coming to me and you're like, you went from, I have nothing to you had like 7 deals in the pipeline. What was that short little journey like?
Um, I came to the realization that the more you put in, the more you get out. My very first listing appointment that I ever went to, I bought this guy's training called Brandon Mulrennan. It's like reverse selling. And I just memorized the word tracks and I memorized the objections inside and out. Went on the listing appointment. It was my very first listing appointment. He said, hey, you know, we're going to interview other real estate agents, and did my spiel, left. And he gave me a phone call that night as a for sale by owner. He said, you are definitely the most experienced realtor. We're going to list with you. And I was like, what? So I realized that I feel like there's a common theme that like once you make it in this industry, you just coast. Nobody does follow-up training. Nobody, does like follow on studying. I'm like, this is something that I actually have a shot at.
Right. Because everybody else, your point there is everybody else was coasting and you were driving, right? You were working on your scripts. You were working on your dialogues. You were working on your presentation. You were following up with people. And it wasn't just go there and pray that somebody calls you back and says yes. You were just actually in the trenches doing it. Now you had something like, I think it was, well, you tell me the numbers, but I remember it was like something like 6 or 7 deals pending, and you called me up. You're like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah, it was, and those are all for sale by owners, 100% of them. And I just didn't realize that I have like the potential to actually get deals done as a brand new agent. All the noise keeps saying join a team. And now if I could go back 100%, I would have moved out to Colorado and I would have made your coffee and folded your socks. I would have done anything that I possibly needed to going back, because I feel like I could have been so much further ahead if I would have had the proper training and mentorship instead of doing this whole by myself thing. Because at times it's been miserable, and I probably like 6 out of the 7 days a week, I just didn't want to do this anymore. But now that things are starting to, finally go, it's like, okay, we can do this. We're building the systems, we're growing the team. Things are going to work.
Well, and I think a lot of people that watching this can relate to that 6 out of 7 days, you really don't want to do this because you really don't know what to do. And it seems intimidating. You can take a course, you can take a coaching program. I can tell by your background and because of what we've done in the past, you've taken YouTube courses as well. And when you've reached out to me for guidance and to be pointed in the right direction, one of the things I loved is I said, hey, if you want to do YouTube, go this direction. If you want to do this, go that direction. And when I've suggested to you, this is what I would do, and then you went and did it, I saw your business just go leaps and bounds after that.
I've had my YouTube channel for 3 months. I already have 1,500 subscribers. Like my videos are getting thousands of views, and I'm getting multiple leads per week. And the thing is, when somebody calls me on this phone, Rick, they're saying, is this the guy from the YouTube video, Luke? I'm like, yeah, how's it going? Hey, we want you as our realtor. I'm like, whoa, what? I'm used to cold calling people, cussing me out on the phone, yelling at me all the time. And now you already know who I am. You're all giggly and smiling on a Zoom call, and you want to work with me now. I'm like, okay. A mentor is someone who is where you want to be. Mr. Jansen, you are where I want to be. And I promise the information that you're going to give me, I'm just going to do it. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, I can fail my way forward for the next 20 years and eventually get to where you're at, or I can learn from you, because the crazy thing is you didn't have you when you're in my position. I have you, and I'm going to take that opportunity and I'm just going to run with it.
Well, and I love this because you are me years ago, but I was ignorant and you're smart. Right. So, but a little bit backstory about me. When I started in real estate, I was an attorney. I had an MBA. I thought I was super, super smart. And so I was just going to go develop a real estate business. But I didn't want to listen to anybody else. I didn't want to learn from anybody else. I didn't see the point because I was so smart. Right. Yeah. So I quickly went broke, spent 14 hours a day trying to code on the internet back in the days before WordPress and everything else. Made absolutely no money coding in my home office, trying to figure out how to create relationships, which is what this business is all about. But I didn't actually go out and create the relationships, even though I was the social mayor of Denver. I didn't nurture my relationships in my database. I tried to go find cold leads online, which was not my skill set, as opposed to working my skill set and working who I was. And so I quickly lost my house and my investment property for foreclosure. I would see my water turned off and literally go buy a gallon of water and shower with a gallon of water, and I was so embarrassed and so broke. And at some point, God had to break me a little bit and teach me some humility and go, look, there are people who have done this before. And like you just said, find who you want to be, do what they do, and you'll get what they've got. And I finally started hiring mentors, hiring coaches. I spent hundreds of, well over $100,000 on coaches to try to learn what I'm going to teach you and what I'm going to teach other people. And I just want to freely share it out there because, there's such a huge failure rate in this industry, and there doesn't have to be. Right. So anybody who has the work ethic, anybody who has the drive, if they're applying it in the right direction, can succeed in this industry. Some of it's going to be boring, right? Success is boring. It's a routine of doing the same thing over and over and over again. But the good thing is, and I heard this yesterday, I'm going to quote it. Good thing is we only have to be boring 2 to 3 hours a day to be successful in our industry. And the rest of the day, you can be very, very creative. You can engage with people. You can have wonderful lively conversations. You can learn and grow. I'm about to list a $1.4 million property that has a barn and an RV shed and a horse stable and an apartment, all this other stuff. Pricing that's going to be a fun exercise for me. And I reached out to other people on how to price such a unique property. So I'm still learning 22 years in the business. And you never want to stop growing and getting mentoring and coaching. Now we've got all our background. This is the longest we will ever do that on any one of these calls. Luke, how can we dive in and juice your production today?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just going to do it raw and dirty right down to the point, because in the very beginning, I started going in every direction. I tried outbound calling. I tried everything else. And then I get super, super busy, bogged down, and then not call anybody for a month, or not call anybody for 6 weeks, and then generate like a bunch of stuff and then not anything for a few weeks. It was the wrong way to do it. I know like consistency every single day builds the business. So I joined EXP in August 1st of 2022. I'm currently at 75% of my cap. I've closed 10 total deals. 4 were sellers, 6 were buyers. The average price point was $258,000. To put that into perspective, if I divide all the zip codes in my local area, it's about 250,000. However, there are like new constructions, like nicest homes in the area. New constructions are going to run you like 450 to 550 max. So that's like the premium in the area. So the average, home in the area is 250.
Okay.
And then those deals, just to break those down, September 1st, I closed my first deal, nothing in October, 3 in November, nothing in December, 1 in January, 1 in February, 2 in March, 1 in April. I currently have 1 under contract for a buyer, 2 under contract for a seller, 3 active listings. And then I have 2 people under buyer brokerage engagement agreements. However, with YouTube now, I'm getting 2 to 3 serious people per week added to my pipeline. And I made that same mistake that you were talking about. A lead to me was somebody has, hey, I'm ready to buy or sell right now. I wasn't saving phone numbers or email addresses. So I got 117 people in my database, but out of those people, I know we'll do business together.
Yeah. So they're good. They're good, strong. Now, do me a favor, email. I know you're reading that, so email me all those numbers so I can put them in a spreadsheet and start tracking them. We'll set up a Google spreadsheet and we'll just kind of track week to week how you're doing.
Perfect.
Because that accountability is key. I know you're an accountability guy. I'm not, at least historically, right? I was like, oh, big brother on my shoulder, forget about it. But here's the thing, like what I've learned is when I'm not held accountable, when I'm not holding myself accountable, I don't need to be accountable to big brother, and I'm not going to be a big brother to you. But when I'm not holding myself accountable to making those calls, to making those lists, to putting people into my system, to building my database, to following up on those calls, the only person I hurt is myself, right?
Exactly.
And my future income. And now, I'm married, I've got 3 kids. Now I hurt my family, right? Because if you have this inconsistent roller coaster commission job, it's only because, well, we'll go into that. There are a lot of reasons why that is. But this call is about you, Luke. So what do you need help with today? I know you're building Ylopo. You just got a lender on board to help partner with Ylopo and Follow Up Boss. You're working on a YouTube channel. So where do you want to dive in today?
So I'll I guess give you the real quick overview, and then maybe you can help me break it down. I found out from the beginning that I'm really good at 2 things. I'm really good at video, and just communication between people. So like bomb videos and handwritten letters. I love doing those. I love being in front of people in person at appointments. And then I love like shooting YouTube videos. Like I got the whole setup now. It's amazing. to the point where I didn't even have to pay taxes this year because I was able to write off so much deductions. Okay. That's how bad the first year's gone. But we're going to make it work. We're going to make things happen. But how I have the team set up now is I realized
Luke, I want you to have a goal. This is a goal I put in my head at one point. I want to have a goal of paying $1 million in taxes.
That's a nice goal to have.
A year.
Absolutely.
Right? So set your goal, whatever it is. I want to pay $100,000 in taxes. Now, nobody wants to pay taxes, but if you're paying $100,000 in taxes and you're writing off a ton of stuff, you just made a ton of money.
Exactly.
So make it a goal not to have your tax bill to be as big as possible, because you want to minimize that, right? It's illegal to avoid taxes. It's not illegal to evade or whatever the famous quote is, but to minimize. It's not illegal to minimize them. It's illegal not to pay them, right? So, but make it a point to like, hey, I paid $0 in taxes this year. My goal is, with writing off as much as humanly possible, I want to get my tax bill to 100 grand. And then, work out what that income is going to be. But anyway, I digress.
No, I agree with you 100%. I have my goals written down, even on my whiteboard. I got 4 big old whiteboards up on the wall next to me. I'm just a visual person. But it happened about 3 months ago when we started having that conversation, when I needed a virtual assistant for the first time, that I'd call and call and call. And then the thing is I would set 2 preview appointments the very next day on For Sale by Owners. And I'll send you my script. And I think a lot of people would value this. Like 3 key questions I'd go over, hey, are you open to, having a relationship with a buyer's agent if that means I bring you a full priced offer on your home? And then I leverage the fact that I can do a professional video tour of their property, take control of the marketing. They still get to sell the house on their own, but they pay me a commission if I sell it. And then I show them my YouTube channel. I show them my social media. And through that, I was actually able to generate buyers. And out of those buyers, I usually get the listing too. So I got super complacent because I'd go on 2 appointments and I closed 1 as a listing, and then I wouldn't make calls for 30 days. So I was trying to figure out, how can I build a system in place in order to maximize my time and get more deals done. So I've had 3 key hires in the last 3 months, and now I can just solely focus on what I want to focus on. Hopefully you tell me this is a good idea, how I can help leverage this the most. I'm my video editor 40 hours a week. He trained on that, the YouTube SEO course inside and out, paid him for 30 days, didn't even make a video. Just like, how can we maximize our potential on YouTube? I went through the course with him. I took notes, he took notes, and we collaborated every day for a month. And now he's doing video full time. Eventually
stop in on that for a second. When you say you collaborated every day for a month, was that half an hour, an hour? Did you have a Zoom call? What were you talking about when you collaborated?
Zoom call for 1 to 2 hours a day on exactly what we want to accomplish. Broke it down to a science, because that course has 63 videos. It goes down to the point when we make a YouTube video, it's not because we want to make a video. This is what's trending on a vidIQ. Like, what are the key searches? And then from the searches, search it yourself, find the top 3 videos, check out their thumbnails and watch their videos all the way through. Would I myself non-biasedly watch my video over somebody else's? And we start with the thumbnail, the title, and somebody else's content before we even make it ourselves, and like breaking it down to a science. And then the keywords, the tags, the description, leveraging ChatGPT to make sure that we can fulfill all the obligations needed for all the keywords. So when somebody searches on Google or YouTube, our content pops up first. And that was 1 to 2 hours every single day from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. for a month. And I was paying him out of pocket with money I didn't have, because I know the potential that we have. So it was a lot of in-person work, and there's no way you can hire somebody out and not be able to be with them every day. Even to this day, from 8 to 8:30, we get on a call and figure out, what video content am I filming today, and what do you need from me specifically?
And so you're asking him what he needs from you.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's key, folks, because there's so many people. There are probably hundreds, if not thousands, of people buying YouTube video courses, but they're not doing what Luke just did, right? They're not going the extra mile. They're thinking, well, I can just buy this YouTube course and make a video and go online and get business. It's not that easy, right? The courses make it seem like it's going to be that easy. And they draw you deeper and deeper and deeper and make you pay more and more and more. But that's not really where the money is. If you go through all 63 courses, you end up investing the time and the energy that Luke did, which is why he is actually getting inbound leads from his videos.
Yeah, and the thing is, what I learned from the very beginning with YouTube, don't expect a lead for the first 6 months. And the thing is, you're putting in hundreds of hours into learning how to make a thumbnail, learning how to do this, learning how to do that, learning how to do video editing. And no offense, it finally clicked in my mind that if I did this 8 hours a day and this was my only job, I could be a really great video editor. Then I thought about it. Why don't I just partner with somebody? They can, have a partnership within my business. That's their baby. That's their section of our business. And we train him, teach him, do the courses, get him the technology that he needs, the graphics that he needs, the audio that he needs, and have him train day in and day out, incentivize him by bonuses on top of his normal hourly wage, depending on how many leads or how many closings we get, and really make this his business as well as my business, so I can focus on my income producing activities while he helps me grow that. Because me creating a thumbnail and trying to figure that crap out for 12 hours when I can go on Fiverr and pay $5, it's just not worth it. And you can learn day in and day out on how to do that kind of stuff. But Rick, I don't know about you, but you going on that $1.4 million listing appointment, how many hours would you spend trying to learn how to do a thumbnail versus actually going out in front of people and doing your tasks?
Yeah, the highest and best use of time is always being in front of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, people who are wanting to buy or sell a house, right? It's not
exactly
people. So let's go back. You said you have 3 hires. One was the video editor, and I think you did a great job of outlining that. Do you have any questions there? It seems like you've got that dialed in on all cylinders at the moment.
With him, that's where my confidence lies within that. And that's just because we're doing this together. Now, if you have any advice outside of that, like what videos to make, what direction to go, I feel like that's just going to be from kind of looking overview of the channel and kind of seeing like a direction with that.
Okay. Yeah, we can do a deep dive on the channel for sure.
Sweet. Because I noticed that the competition that I have, and this isn't to be rude, there's 2 people. Number one, the guy can't get in front of a camera. It's very awkward to watch. I watched one of his videos this morning because I'm going to make a similar topic, and it was hard for me not to skip it. But he's been doing it for 3 years, and he's the go-to guy, sells 45 houses a year using video. And he texted me last week saying that I was a cheater and that I must be, paying for subscribers and all that kind of stuff, which I was super excited about. That was a little win last week. Yeah, I just had to throw that out there.
Because when you sent me that screenshot, I didn't understand, but now I do.
Yeah. So
that's funny. Yeah, he's
I've invited him.
Man, it's all organic growth. I am just making content people want to see. I'm SEOing it. I'm linking it. I'm doing my research. I'm doing my homework. I'm providing valuable content, and I'm making sure that people can find it. Did you see that the force subscribe option? It was a video I saw recently about how to force people to subscribe when they first come onto your channel.
Yep, that little bit link at the very end you add to it.
Yeah. I'm going to start adding that. That was a really cool little hack.
So I have like Popple, it's like my digital business card. Anytime somebody clicks on that YouTube link from anywhere, that force subscribe box pops up. So they have to, either hit subscribe or deny before they even look at your videos.
Nice.
So it's some gold.
Yeah. Cool. Anyway, so that's your confidence box, right?
Yeah.
Your YouTube, you've obviously got a really slick setup. And folks, Luke was just telling me, he's like, all you got to do is point your camera in a different direction, paint a wall, put up a couple of lights. The whole studio cost him maybe a couple $100. And now he looks like $1 million.
Yeah. And that's it. I started in my apartment bedroom with a background that was my Big Lots desk that I had, did not look good at all. But 1 coat of paint from Home Depot, cheap $20 floating shelves from Home Depot, and then 2 lights that I found online.
Perfect.
Is all it is. Yeah. And to finish that off, because I really think this will be a lot of value to the people that are watching this. The reason I'm confident with video is because I found the right partner. That is his profession. That's his career. He wants to be the best in the world at it. And all I'm doing is creating a leader within him. He goes out each and every day. He watches all the other YouTube videos within the nation, the top people producing content to create ideas. He's doing seminars on video editing in his free time. Like sometimes I try to figure out like, he'll text me at like 6 or 7 o'clock at night and he's off at 4, and he'll say he's just finishing something up. So it's really his work ethic and him that's really made this worth it. Because if you just go on Fiverr and hire a video editor for, $40 a video for a 10-minute video, those same results won't happen. You need to build a relationship and build a leader within your organization to truly help you have that same vision. Because his long-term vision here at EXP is to be able to train video editors, give them the processes necessary. So when people join me at EXP and they want a video editor for their YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn to repurpose that content, he wants to actually branch off, find a new video editor for me, still be a part of my business, but be a leader and train those individuals so we can outplace them on future agents' teams.
That's fantastic. And folks, hiring is such a big deal. Hiring an ISA, hiring a VA, all these people, we have experience doing it. Luke brought up something wonderful, which was finding the leader and sort of teaching that leader to be a better leader. And Luke already knows what his employees, and he calls them a partner, right? His partner language counts. So he's found his partner's goals and he's helping his partner meet his goals. So how motivated is that person to help Luke? Extremely, right? And while the wages we're paying overseas for people are small compared to the US, they're big compared to their local economy. So you can never say, hey, I'm paying somebody, only this much an hour. And we're talking like less than $10 an hour in a lot of cases, which is awesome. So you can say, hey, this is what I'm paying someone an hour. Seems like small compared to Denver, compared to Seattle or New York. But in their home country, it is actually a very good living. And I never quibble with somebody when they say, hey, I want to be paid X. I'll even raise it and say, hey, or provide bonuses and say, yeah, you want to be provided. That's because that's who they value themselves at today, right? If they're saying it's $4, $8, $10, $12 an hour, that's how they see themselves today. Like, what is your goal? What do you want to make an hour? Well, I want to make twice that. Okay, great. Let's create a path where you can make twice that because you're actually producing twice that. Right?
Exactly.
And coaching them up to the income they want. If you give somebody the ability to earn what they actually want to earn, they will learn and grow to become that person.
I agree 100%. And that I took that advice straight from you when I hired the people that I have, because I'll just get this off my chest. I'm a, freedom fighting American. I love America more than anything else. But you have to understand that there's people outside of America that have families, that have jobs, that have a life to live and a well-being. And, sometimes these people have a stronger why, and they're willing to fight for their families to generate more income than somebody here in the United States. I don't have any discrimination when it comes to hiring an American versus somebody overseas. I care about work ethic, I care about character, and I care about the end goal in mind. So I think it is the most valuable thing you can do is that hourly wage plus bonuses, and get them on that path to figure out how can we get you to where you want to go, and then put that ball in their court for them to be able to get there.
And it's a trickier hire, right? I mean, it's not somebody where you can meet locally for coffee or a hamburger. It's not somebody you can bring into your office and collaborate. There's a lot to be said for that. And if you can afford that, go for it. But there are a lot of newer agents who are like, look, if you're selling a $250,000 house, and let's say it's an average commission of 3%, you're now at 7,500, you take 20% off the top, you're down to what, it's, you also have to feed your family, right? And if you're trying to grow a business, and if you're trying to market, and if you're trying to pay for technology like YLOPO and software and remarketing and rebranding and all this other stuff, like, can you afford $40 an hour right now to hire a native, or can you start somewhere else, go through the tricky cultural waters of trying to hire in a different culture, in a different language, trying to find the work ethic, trying to, there's all of that. And if anybody wants a lesson on how to hire, just ping me in the comments, text me at 303-589-2320, and I can connect you to our resources. But there's that whole component. So you've got that box down. You said you had 3 hires. So let's go through some of those. And again, folks, a lot of this is background just to get people caught up to speed. We will actually coach Luke.
So this is part of the coaching. Once we get through these 3 hires, like I guess the point for the first call is, what can I be doing on a daily basis while these people are in place? And how can I grow being in my lane? So I'm just trying to get like what the other lanes are getting taken care of, so I can like maximize my production on like my specific tasks.
Perfect.
My second hire is my executive assistant. He takes care of all non-income producing activities. In his words, not mine. Luke, you should be going on appointments and talking with active clients, nothing else. He came from a team in Atlanta. He did it for 11 years. He was on a few different real estate teams, but his last team, he helped a brokerage go from 30 million in production a year to over 280 million in production. He outsourced, hired, and trained every position: TC, listing coordinator, marketing coordinator, social media manager, the whole 11 virtual assistant operations team. And like, he was over it all. And they did over 600 transactions a year. So it was over a deal a day. And that's the guy that I just got on my team, and he's helping me rebuild everything. I never lived outside of my CRM, right? Everything was notebook paper, which was the wrong answer. And we're finally getting the ball rolling with stuff. He's watching everything YLOPO, getting those systems in place, building out the smart list, building everything out inside and out. Now, other than the legal stuff that I have to do as a real estate agent with paperwork, he takes care of everything. If I need a listing agreement typed up, done. Buyer, brokerage engagement agreement, done. Need something, I'm able to just focus on the income producing activities. So that's his role.
Now, if anybody out there is like me and just salivating to make a hire like that, how did you find this individual, and how, as a newer agent, did you convince him to come with you and afford it?
First hire was actually through you, Rick. It was June, who was supposed to be an inside sales agent. And after June and I got to talking, I found out his skill set was video editing, social media, and stuff like that. So we're like, hey, yeah, you're not going to make phone calls. This is what we're going to do. Second of all, with Nico, he had a heart-to-heart conversation. I want to get too deep into it. But he worked for the guy for so long, and he never paid him any more money. No commissions, no nothing. It was just one hourly wage. And he said, hey, just being nice about it, I've helped you take your brokerage from 30 million a year to $280 million a year. And I'm not a partner. My wages haven't gone up. I need two things. I either need to get paid more, or could you give me like a reference? And the guy straight up just told him like, hey, I don't do references. I don't put my name out there for anything like that, yada, yada, yada. So he came up to a wall and was like, I can either keep making the same money that I have to, produce for my family, or I can go somewhere else. And he went through some hardships. And throughout COVID, he had like a virtual assistant business on the side. So he'd hire, train virtual assistants and outplace them on real estate teams. And when COVID hit in his country, nobody was allowed to go into the office. So he lost everything. He didn't have anything left, and he has a big family. So he reached out on a Facebook group, a transaction coordinator group, I think, and was saying, hey, I'm looking for a job.
Wow.
And I messaged him right away, got him on a Zoom call, and it was just pure God putting us together, awesome. Which is just wild. And the thing is, if you're waiting to make that decision to hire the right person to take care of non-income producing activities, just think about it. Like, if you're doing paperwork and, like trying to decipher all this different stuff for 4 hours a day, if you are on the phone 4 hours a day or producing video content that actually, lead generates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, if you were lead generating compared to doing back-end work 4 hours a day, that compounds so much that you're just wasting time and money not doing it. I sold my car. I sold my grandpa's inheritance because he worked his entire life. So I could afford to do this. Like, literally one of his firearms, which was something that I was so grateful to have, I sold it for my YouTube camera. And I really had a really hard heart-to-heart with myself, saying, my grandpa worked his entire life to give me something, or did he work his entire life? He owned 2 motorcycle shops, worked on the railroad for over 40 years, provided for his entire family, working 70, 80 hours a week. And I never heard the man complain one time. I never heard him yell one time. He just worked really hard. And it was, do I want to remember my grandpa by an item, or remember my grandpa by building a life that he was able to give me something, and I was able to turn that into more than anything my friends, family members could ever deserve? So I didn't have anything at all. I had nothing. So I literally sold my guns. I sold the stuff that I had. As of right now, I didn't have a car for a while. I was using my wife's so I could make sure that I could do this. Anybody that has a plan B, your plan A is not strong enough. So if you can't afford it, can you really not afford it? Or do you not want to change your lifestyle? what is it worth to you? So that's how I was able to afford it.
And that's also why I pour so much into Luke, is because anybody who wants it this bad deserves all the help he can get, right? And all the direction he can get. And if there's anybody else out there that bonds with this story, that wants this help, just reach out to me, please, because I'm just got like goosebumps all up and down my arms. I'm like, it's got this warm feeling all of a sudden, because like this is what it's all about. This is the entrepreneurial spirit of America, and this is what I love pouring into. So this is awesome, Luke.
Well, thank you. And anybody that watches this isn't me to give Rick a big ego or stroke his ego or anything like that. Rick is somebody that's in the trenches every single day, and he did the work, and he deserves the results that he has because he did what it took to get to where he is. And I don't know how you're not one of the top real estate coaches in the entire United States. And you know what? I actually have the answer for that, because instead of trading the day-to-day business and saying, hey, I made it, I'm just going to go be a coach now, you're in the trenches every single day, leading by example, showing others what to do by doing it yourself. And there's no better trainer than somebody who does it and does it very well like yourself. So you got to give yourself some credit. So if people aren't following Rick and asking for advice, I don't know what you're doing. This is going to be probably the most valuable experience that I've ever had in my entire life.
Well, thanks, Luke. Thank you, Luke. I appreciate that. What's your third pillar?
Your third hire started on Monday. She's an ISA. Now this one was a money pit. I screwed up. I tried hiring an ISA for about 6 months. Fail after fail after fail after fail. I even went through a company called Power ISA, dropped $2,500 to interview people that had no real estate experience. I got lied to. They were supposed to have real estate sales experience and be trained on the same course that I took for outbound prospecting, and found out it was a lie. And I got stuck into a contract and I wasted a bunch of money. Nico, my executive assistant, actually.
By the way, that's not a slam of that company. They might have
no, not at all. I'm just trying to be
I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
That was one experience, and that was
If I look at the reviews and everything else like that, it would have been a phenomenal time, and I would have went through them again and found other people. But this is leading me to this point: is Nico already knew people? I just didn't ask him.
Good point.
So you don't realize how many people are willing to help you if you just ask. You don't get what you don't ask for. And Nico said, hey, why did you go through an ISA hiring company? It's like, well, I need an ISA. He's like, but I know the best in the business. I'm like, what do you mean? I got on a Zoom call with this girl named Maria that started on Monday. She has 6 years of inside sales experience calling for sale by owners, expired, circle prospecting, absentee owners, database leads, inbound leads. And since Monday, is today Tuesday? Since yesterday when she started, she built out my entire follow-up boss, redid all my email campaigns, my text campaigns, and created a step-by-step process from the very first time she calls a lead until it's closed, everything that I need to do and everything that she does.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and she doesn't have an accent. She's amazing on the phone. You feel like you're building a friend when you talk to her. And she knows every real estate term. She knows everything in the business. And the only thing I had to train her on is our voice, our culture, and the message that we want to bring across. So I'm finally understanding that I just need to bring on people who are good at what they do, build them into the leader that they need to become by leading by example, and then focus on what I need to do, which is, I guess, the way we can start this off when it comes to training is in the position that I'm in. If you were in my shoes, what would you be doing on a daily basis? If you have a video editor that helps with YouTube, eventually social media, somebody that takes care of all non-income income producing activities, and an ISA that's going to be creating seller leads for you.
Right. So how much time a day are you actually spending recording yourself and the B-roll and everything else?
So as of right now, I'm doing about 7 long form videos a week, which really doesn't take that much time. I'll give you a cheat code. Figure out based off of what we talked about earlier on YouTube, go on ChatGPT, tell that system who you are, what you're trying to accomplish, and say, hey, give me a detailed bulleted script on this specific topic. Take away things, add in more relevant information because that system's only up to date on 2021. Go through it a couple times, memorize it, be authentic. Don't read off of a script. Take your knowledge of you being in the real estate industry for however many years you've been in, or even months, and just be authentic with the camera and talk about it. So that content doesn't take long because I don't have to study scripts. I just know what I'm going to talk about the topic wise.
Exactly.
So probably
So you're spending some time planning your week, right, for videos. How much is that time?
Sunday night from maybe 7 to 8 p.m.
Okay, and that's where you're planning your research. You're like saying, hey, these are the 6 long form, and long form is like 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, so we want to keep those videos under 10 minutes, just because of, view time. If you're doing like a detailed like city tour with drone footage and you're going to different things and you really want to go more in depth, you can make them 15 to 20. But typically like a headshot video with me in the background, and then it switches different scenes because your video editor will put in like that cool new YouTube stuff that goes over like a buyer shaking somebody's hand, or it pans over a restaurant, stuff like that. Those are about 10 minutes. Neighborhood tours, I try to keep them, 10 to 15 minutes, talk about the school systems, local areas, amenities in the area. I'll do a property tour every week. If you don't have property tours to go on, go to new construction and just say, hey, I might have a buyer. Can I take a video of the property? Literally how I started. For sale by owners, that's where a lot of my property tours come from, because who's going to say no to free marketing? And then like this week, should I buy a house in 2023? Top 5 food places in Middle Georgia. I'm going to go to the 5 restaurants, videotaped outside, talk about them. Most expensive, cheapest house on Zillow. Those are like 5-6 minutes long. It's just my face going over, crazy Zillow stuff. And then I'm creating series, buyer series, seller series, how to buy a house using Realtor, how to sell a house using Realtor, how to sell for sale by owner. And then 20 or so videos that are short form, like 1 to 3 minutes long. And I have the seller one here. Hopefully I'm not going overboard with it, but I have too much crap on my desk. Like video 1, the listing agreement, understanding your contract with your realtor. Video number 2, setting the right price, how the realtor determines your home value, all the way through the last one being referrals and reviews. So if somebody has a question that I've ever been asked more than one time, I'm creating a video on it. So if somebody has a question, I just send them the video, they get lost on my YouTube channel, and all of a sudden I'm an authority figure. So I'm trying to take at least 2 hours a day, every day, to videotape and document, not just pre-plan all this stuff, but just document what I'm doing throughout the day as well.
Yeah. So what I did for a seller list and a buyer list, because I created a playlist like that too. I did it, I think it was like 2 hours one night. Is I just started like you did, write down everything that you ever get asked more than once, because if you have to do it twice, automate it, video it, whatever, right? And so like you did, just create that seller list. And I just turned on my video camera on a gray wall, and I just started talking, right? Get some good lights, and just 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Like, what's an appraisal? What do I expect from an appraisal? What happens after the appraisal? What happens during the inspection? Do I have to leave my house for an inspection? Who's going to be in my house during the inspection? What happens after the inspection? What's an inspection rejection? How do we handle the inspection resolution? What should I expect from an inspection rejection, right? You go through, like, just think through the entire process. Like you did, title it out, boom, 2 minutes, answer the question, and now you have a playlist. And that seller playlist, that buyer playlist, right when I get started with someone, I send them a playlist like, hey, here you might run across some of these questions. Here's some frequently asked questions. I just want to turn you on to this playlist. I'm always here and happy to help you. But if you can free up some time, and if you can give them some assurances ahead of time, because that proper communication is so key, and communicating to someone through one of the 3 most stressful things they'll ever, encounter in their life, death of a loved one, divorce, or moving, right? You're handling number 3. So give them the information to go through that. Now, it sounds like you're doing that already, which is awesome. But it sounds like you've also got like 2 to 3 hours a day of video. Is that right, or no? Even hiring it out?
Oh, I don't have to do any editing at all.
No, not the editing, like the planning and the production.
Oh, the planning and production. Yeah, it really. Do you want to know why? It takes me 5 minutes, and the reason is I go on vidIQ. I see what videos are top trending. I try to figure out based off of YouTube what other people are doing, and I use this crazy tool called ChatGPT. And how I got this 21 video list. Hey, I'm a realtor. I want to create a listing series for sellers. What is every single step that I need to do in order to list a home from start to finish? Boom. And then you type in a couple prompts, and all of a sudden you have 21 videos to make. So it takes minutes.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've been playing a lot with GPT over the weekend. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you offline what I've been doing. It's kind of insane. Yeah. But so you've got your ISA calling. One of the things we talked about yesterday, and this might be a goal for you this week, because you're really needing to be in front of more people, right?
Exactly.
Your ISA is now calling your FSBOs so you don't have to, right? Trying to set appointments. Your admin person and your ISA are combined working your database to make sure that that's kind of tweaked. So what it appears to me that's missing is more people in the database. Am I correct?
100%. I got 117 people in there right now.
Yeah. So one of the things that I just learned at the Y Local conference I went to, the regional one that you're going to as well, and we talked about this briefly yesterday, but let's kind of dive into it deeper, is the power of a good system to reanimate, wake up, nurture your prospects for you so they get to the point that they raise their hand, which makes them wanting to have a conversation, which means they're wanting to have a conversation with you, right? So it's a matter of how many people can you have in that database? Because there are a lot of people who said 2 years ago, I'm not ready to buy. I'm just kind of kicking the tires, but maybe in a year or two. Well, guess what? It's been a year or two. Those people are now ready to buy or sell. Or like the person I was telling you about yesterday, met him in December. He
Yeah.
said 2 years from now, but now it's April. He's calling or texting me twice a day to get a price on his home to move, right? Because as soon as the leaves turn green on his trees, he wants pictures and he wants to be on the market. So he's a year and 7 months ahead of schedule according to my database, but not according to his life because life always
Mm-hmm.
changes. So one of the things I would put you on a mission for this week, outside of your normal appointments, outside of your normal video production, outside of training your leaders to be the leaders that they want to be, is really filling in that database as much as possible. Now, how many realtors and real estate agents, because there is a difference, right? How many real estate agents are there in Middle Georgia, the area that you serve?
I need to, I'm going to get that exact number for you. But this is the thing. There's a bunch of agents like everywhere. However, there's not really like the dominant person. There's like 3 big teams that might have like 13 to 15 people, and they might be doing somewhere between 150 and 200 deals with those mega teams that they have. But everybody else are like onesie twosie agents. So there's really like a definitive like 5 big teams in the area, and that's it.
Okay.
Everybody else is like a roller coaster of they come into the business and quit after 6 months.
Sure. So on the big teams, and we'll talk about how to approach those big teams on another call, I think. I want to focus on the people who are not big teams, because if someone's strong enough as an entrepreneur and as a business owner to build a team, they have systems in place. They're following up on their leads. They're feeding the little birds. The birds have the hungry mouths. They're giving them leads at 50%. So let's leave them alone for a second, and we'll approach them in wave 2. But all of the people who have like a team of maybe 1 or 2 or individual agents, I want you to start calling those agents and say, hey, look, I'm Luke. Do you have I know your time is really, really valuable. Do you have a couple of minutes? And sure. Great. I'll cut right to the chase. And I thank you for your time. Have you ever bought leads off the internet? Almost everybody this day and age is going to say yes, right? Did you buy them from Zillow, Realtor, or were they Facebook ads? And someone will say, oh, they were Facebook, they were whatever program or something. Can I just, pro to pro, what was the quality of those leads? How do you feel they were? Almost everybody's going to say, well, there were a couple of good ones, but by and large, they were horrible. And what is really horrible is their follow-up, right? Because internet leads are people. People have lives, people have needs, people's needs change, right? So what they're treating them as is leads, lead, a 4-letter word, something dirty that they don't want to touch and really interact with. So they talk to them on an average 1.2 times. It takes an average of 8 touches to actually get that person on the phone, not to mention build a relationship with them. So the lead wasn't necessarily that horrible, although I know I've got a lot of bad leads in my system, bad leads, right? There's still gold in there. So what I want you, so when the person now says, okay, yeah, the quality wasn't that very good, say, hey, are you still following up with that leads, or would you be open to a money-making opportunity? And they're gonna think they're being sold or something, right? They're gonna be like, well, wait a minute, what's going on? They're like, no, look, I want to do you a favor. I want to find money in that database for you. And here's what I would propose to you. You keep every one of those leads in your systems as you're following up with them. I want you to keep 100% of those leads. But will you grant me the opportunity to work those leads as well? And if I close any one of those leads for the next 5 years, in the next 5 years, I'll pay you a referral fee. They're gonna be like, what? It's like, yeah, you work them, I work them. But if I end up closing them, I'll pay you a referral fee. Is if I could get you money out of a dead, bad, cold, awful Facebook lead, if I could just get you free money, would that be of value to you?
Yes.
I love that. You're saying yes, because that's what that person's going to say, right? And you're going to play with the script a little bit. But if I can find you money in your cold, dead, awful lead database, if I can find you just free money, even if it's 2 to 5, maybe 10 deals this year, would that be of value to you? And for the next 5 years. And so go to people and say, how many people are in that? Then before you ask them, sorry, back up 1 second. Before you say, if I could find you dead money, and say how many leads do you have? These cold, dead, bad internet leads. 500, 1,000, right? 10,000. And they're going to come back to you with a number. Get that number first, right? Because that's going to be your negotiation point for how much you actually want to pay them for the referrals, right? If they've got 10,000, juice that referral fee up a little bit because you want that access to that database, right? Even if they're cold, dead, bad, awful leads, because that's the beauty of the system that you're building right now, is the ability to wake those people up. So get the number first. Like, hey, how long have you been buying these leads? Year or two? Oh, I played with it for a month, 2 months, whatever. How long have you been doing it? How many do you have? If I can find money in your dead database, would that be of value to you?
Yep, quote right there.
Can I go mining for the gold that's way, way deep, deep down on row 576 in your database? If I can find that money for you and pay you for it, and you can work it too. And if you close it, you get 100%. So there's no harm, no foul. If you close that lead and I didn't, all power to you. Maybe I just woke up your work ethic, right? Don't say that. But it's going to happen for about a month. They're going to try to work those leads for about a month.
And then they're going to forget about it just like they always have.
Like they always have, right?
They don't have Y Lopo.
Wake up the competition, wake up their work ethic. And I tell you what, when you start finding leads 6 months from now and you're going back to them, and you woke someone up 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, and you're starting to pay them consistent referral checks out of their dead database, they're going to come to you and say, what are you doing differently than me? Right? And that's where you're going to start attracting agents to your group as well, locally. But for right now, I want you to set a goal of getting 10,000 people in that database.
Let's do it.
And it's not going to happen this week. It's not going to maybe even happen this month, but guess what? It could happen. I was telling you the story. I had a mortgage lender who introduced 10,000 people to my database in one phone call. And they were all realtor leads and Zillow leads he's been buying for 20 years that don't belong to any other agent. And I approached him and said, hey, what if we could wake up your database and find you some purchase and refi money in your database? Would you be open to that? And he's 100% all in. Back to that's my next meeting today. Is working with him. So let's start you doing what you do best, which is being you in person, on the phone, whatever it might be. It's going to start on the phone, right? But being you, being personable, being genuine, which you are, that's one of your strengths. And just approach people and say, look, I'm just calling you with a win-win. I want to help you earn money from an investment you already made. And it's not going to cost you a dime. Right? And they're going to say, how are you doing? It's like, that's my secret sauce. Right? But the team I have in place and the systems we have built will find money in your dead database. Right? And I want to create a win-win. I want you to profit. I want you to profit from an investment you already made and not have to pay a dime extra to do so. Would that help you right now as we're facing a recession, as we're facing inflation, as we're facing rising interest rates, as we're facing a shrinking inventory? If I found you some extra money, would that be of value to you? If it didn't cost you a dime, right? It's money they've already spent. And between you and your lender, Mitch, who's an awesome guy, by the way, great find with him, with the two of you approaching realtors this way, and Mitch's script is a little bit different, right? Because Mitch is going to be trying to prove himself as a lender to these agents.
Yep.
acquiring their database, right? Hey, what other lender is trying to find you leads and trying to find you money and trying to wake up these people for you, right? What other lender is helping find you money? By the way, can I have your purchase and refi business, right? That's going to be a natural follow through on that. But acquiring databases for free with money paid off commissions you're going to make in the future is goal number one. Because hey, you don't have money to buy databases. You're hiring your team. You're building your studio. You're spending money where money should be spent, right? So use future money to buy leads today, which is referrals. Because everybody, you ask somebody what would you pay for a lead, and people are like, oh, $2, $3 for a cheap lead, or pay $1,000 for someone who's willing to actually go under contract within the next 30 days. But in reality, every single one of us would pay 30%, because we'd pay a referral fee. If you called me and said, Rick, I've got a seller, in Denver, they want to sell their house, I'd be like, yeah, dude, 30% right out the gate.
Yeah.
No problem. I'll pay you 12 grand for a lead if it's $1 million listing.
Yeah. And the thing is with that, build that know, like, and trustness, build a relationship, and then sell to their friends, family members, and coworkers.
Yeah. Yeah. And so one of the things you're good at is not only building the know, like, and trust, but you're also really good at building in them the idea that they're liked by you.
Yeah.
Right. And they want to work with someone that likes them. And you do that very naturally, very well, because you're very sincere and you're a very honest person. So when you bring that to a real estate agent as well, and you're solving a problem for them, you're not going at it from a position of, hey, I want to acquire a big database and I'm going to build this big empire. That's not your motivation. Your motivation is helping that agent with a problem they have. And so if you can solve the agent's problem, they will freely give you that database.
Yep.
So I would think with the team you have and the systems you're building and the remarketing you have, I would think building a database is one of your primary goals right now, because your database will lead to more appointments. The numbers create possibility for you, right? And the more numbers you have, the more possibilities you have for relationships, for friends, for networking, for everything else.
Okay. Now, I agree 100%, because if I don't have anybody to talk to, there's no deals to be had. So.
Yeah. And deals are needed to pay for all these wonderful people you just hired.
Yeah,
right?
they are.
Yeah.
And then I guess lastly, because I know we've been on here for a while, I'd stay on here for 24 hours. I'll go crack some energy drinks. My daily schedule, I should probably switch it up. And I'll be honest with you, for the next 2 years, I'm fully devoted, even 3, to this is my life. I understand, but I'm going to do the work now that nobody else is willing to do, so I can have what they can't have later. Like I'm all in on that concept. My daily schedule as of right now, as we sit, I wake up at 3 a.m. I walk my dogs. I do about an hour of Bible time. At 4:30, I go to the gym. I get back and eat at 6. I do real estate studies, so my presentation, my scripts, my objections from 6:30 to 8. I pretty much have memorized every single thing inside and out on that point, so I feel like I need to kind of switch my things up a little bit, because really the scripts that I have are taught by people that don't sell anymore. Just being up front. And then I have my meeting with my video editor. That's an hour block time. We usually do 30 minutes to 45 minutes. And then I have a co-op meeting with my ISA and my executive assistant from 9 to 9:30. And then 9:30 to noon is my prospect follow-up time and like business time. Food/reset from 12 to 1. I don't think about nothing. I don't do nothing. Usually take a nap. And then at 1 p.m., I would do some college work because I'm a full-time student online. And then it doesn't take me that long. And then I have 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. appointments, videos, home tours, showings, inspections, etc. And then get ready for bed/read at 7 p.m. And that's Monday through Friday. Saturday morning, some video time. And then the remainder of Saturday and Sunday, nothing real estate related. If you could help me, I guess maybe build a better schedule or like better focused time. So I can
send that over to me. I mean, what you have is working for you. It's working really, really well. For you to spend an hour and a half first thing in the morning on scripts when you're already getting that good, maybe you adapt a little bit of that script time. And I highly encourage everybody to spend that time on scripts and to stay in the scripts. But an hour and a half might be excessive for you.
It really is. Because I'm going to be honest, I probably float on my phone for about half the time because I already know the stuff. I'm trying to find new stuff.
So compartmentalize that to maybe half an hour, and then spend that other hour let's figure out what to do with it, right? Whether it's really learning and the follow-up boss and the YLOPO systems that you're investing in right now, doing the tutorials on those and learning what you're going to, because I know your ISA is really good at those, or your new hire for Monday is really good at those, but knowing it well enough that you can see that she's doing a good job, knowing it well enough that when she so that you can see, so you can appreciate the job she's doing, but also see maybe some stuff that she doesn't know, right?
Yeah.
Because those systems are so robust. I think you could spend 40 hours a week for a month and not learn both of those systems and the potential. So really, if you're going to be investing time in building a database, if you're going to be investing time in leveraging the remarketing and all of that stuff, and if you want to keep your people busy and hired and trained, because you have to be able to have money to pay people, then I would spend, maybe of that hour and a half, I would spend an hour of it really, just dial in and say, this week I'm spending 5 hours, hour a day on follow-up boss, best practices, best systems, best nurture techniques, or the YLOPO. Just dive into that. And I think if you do that I think you could do a month on follow-up boss and a month in YLOPO and still not be up to speed. But there's so much there that you're going to be investing your time into, that I would, becoming a master of that. So like even by next year, you're a realtor in residence with them, because you've just crushed the system. If you're crushing the system, it means you've got more deals than you can possibly handle, and you've got a team of 5, right?
Yeah.
So, with leads, with appointments, with your database, that's where you're going to be, building opportunity. That's where, like, oh my gosh, I have way too much work to do, I need a buyer's agent. Oh my gosh, I've got way too much work to do, I need a second buyer's agent, right? Like your time is going to be focused on listings. People are going to come in as a buyer, they've got a home to sell, great, go tour with Sarah. I'm out here working your listing, I'm pricing it, I'm doing the marketing, I'm building the game plan for that, and doing that big picture and vision. The other thing that we're going to want to put on your agenda at some point is building that consistent look and feel, right, between all of your products, to designing the customer service journey, or the customer journey, right? When someone enters your system as a buyer, when someone enters your system as a seller, what is that path? What is that exceedingly 5-star, 6-star journey that they're going to take? And spending some time mapping that out, spending some time, mind mapping it, figuring out, okay, how do I want what touch points are they going to have? What quality are going to feel? What look, or what, paper stock, what gloss, what is that going to, when am I going to see them in person? What video are they going to receive? How do if I'm going to do it more than once, and I'm going to have more than one buyer, I'm going to have more than one seller, what's that journey going to look like?
Exactly.
And spending some time at somewhere in that day, starting to think about the bigger picture of where this is going, right? And somewhere we're going to put that into your day. I'm not sure where yet.
Well, we're going to figure it out together. I got the time to do it. So.
All right, brother. Well, hey, we both have to go because I know you've got other things on your calendar per day. But for everybody else, if you want to hop on these sessions, if you found any value from this, again, we did a lot of backstory today. We're going to do a lot of forward movement from this point forward, but I wanted you to get to know who Luke was. If you want to know who I am, go to howricksells.com. Howricksells.com has my awards, my backgrounds, my bios, all that boring stuff. You can find that there. But this journey is all about Luke and other agents who want to produce at the highest possible level, who are willing to invest the time now, like Luke said, to have what other people can't or won't in the future, because they didn't invest the time and the energy now in the right direction. Because anytime I've gotten on a free discovery call with a coach, they say, what's ever held you back? And I said, lack of consistent effort and proven direction. That's it. That's the point that's where people fail. Lack of consistent effort in a proven direction. So what we're attempting to do here, only Luke can provide the effort and the consistent effort. And you saw he's got 4 whiteboards. He's got his calendar out. He knows what he's doing every single day. He's time blocking. He's prioritizing his money-making activities. He's offloading his non-money-making activities. He's focusing on his highest and best use of time, his dollar-producing activities. Folks, if you can hire out a lawnmower for $10 and you can go make $500 out in an hour, hiring out your household chores is one of the first things you can do. Easier than hiring an ISA. Hire a teenager from your neighborhood. Right? Have someone fold your laundry, have someone, do errands for you, but don't make the mistake I made in the early 90s when I was in multi-level marketing. I heard that lesson. Go hire out your household activities. Well, I hired them all out, but then I didn't replace them with dollar producing activities.
Yep.
So it was just a big money dump, but I didn't replace it with the highest and best use of my time, right? So if you're ever going to hire something out, have the discipline to replace it with the highest and best use of your time. So you're going to learn just as much from my failures as you're going to learn from my successes. And I'm going to be free and share every failure I've ever had on this channel, because it's through failure that we can learn sometimes. And if you can learn from other people's failures and avoid their failure, I want everybody to avoid the failure of foreclosure. I want everybody to avoid the failure of having water turned off, of having 2 cents in the bank account, of having negative bank account for a week and trying to figure out how to survive that. There is no reason anybody has to be there. The only reason I was there was because of myself, right? And so if we can teach you to be a better person and to have a better path for consistent effort and a proven direction, that's all I want to do, is help people avoid pain and suffering and have such abundance that they can not only take care of their family, but then they can give back to their community. They can tithe to their church. They can give to nonprofits. They can fund programs they're passionate about overseas, whatever it is. Because money is not the goal of this channel. It's not the goal of real estate. It's what money allows you to be able to do in your life. And I know Luke's got that mission in his heart. It's what money allows you to do, because money's going to make you a bigger you. If you're a jerk now, you're going to be a bigger jerk. If you're selfish now, you're going to be more selfish later. But if you are if you're a compassionate, caring, generous person now, if I can teach you how to make more money so you can be a bigger, generous person in the future, God be with you, man. That's going to be awesome. So anybody who wants to get more involved in this channel, there are tons of ways to do that. You can watch it for free now. You can share it. Most importantly, share it with your friends. Share it on YouTube. Get more people watching this channel. This is free content every week. This is the result of over $100,000 worth of coaching and 22 years of experience, 21 years, something like that, of experience selling real estate, being award-winning and everything else, learning from others and brain dumping it to you guys so that you can avoid the pain and the sorrow and enjoy the freedom that you originally got into real estate to have, which was the freedom, the independence, the ambition, the vision, the cherry of having a 100% commission job. If you can have that faster, we're going to get it for you. So anyway, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Luke. Always love talking with you. You're an inspiration to me. I don't know if you know that, but I appreciate you. And Lia, love you guys. And I will, obviously text me, call me anytime during the week, but we'll also see you here same time on this channel next week.
Yes, sir. I really appreciate these. And just to cover what you covered here real quick, I don't want to take anything away from it. You made like the biggest, greatest point that anybody could ever profit from ever watching this video series, because this is going to be an example of me who sucks, because I'm new, into building me into an agent that's a high producer, is the fact that you said when we go and hire other people out, it's not because now we don't get to do anything. It's now we focus our time on things that go and produce more money, so we can be the leader that our team deserves to have. And you're that leader in my life right now. And I just really look forward to this opportunity. And please, if anybody's watching this, Rick is the real deal. He will not steer you in the wrong direction. And we're going to get after it together. I really appreciate you, sir.
We're definitely getting after it. All right, brother. Talk to you soon.
Awesome. We'll see you.
Thanks.